Hello and welcome to the Stateside Soccer Show. My name is Jordan Wiegand, and with me today, as always, is Logan Stump.
How's it going? Man, it feels like it's been like 2 years at least since we recorded, right?
Yeah, we would have done this sooner, especially at the Nations League win, but Logan had to take some time off.
Yeah, it's been fun. Looking for a house is an interesting process.
And celebrating an anniversary.
And celebrating an anniversary and having a staycation and, oh my Lord. So today's like my first day back. I just watched Loki today, so it was exciting.
Here we go.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's the right podcast.
Anyway, we are going to be talking the 3 U.S. games that happened, the 2 Nations League, the friendly that just happened yesterday, and then we're going to look ahead to the only MLS game that's this weekend, and then we also have some little Revolution rumors, maybe.
Yeah,
We can call that. Might be debunked by the time this comes out, or it might be official by the time this comes out. I guess we don't know. But some stuff circulating earlier today. So where we want to start, I think we should go in order here. So we should probably go with the semifinal first, which was Honduras versus USA. It takes until the 89th minute for Jordan Sabatu. He goes by PFOC on the jersey. His Twitter handle is Call Me PFOC, so I'm thinking we should be calling him Jordan PFOC now. Scores, but the MLS website still has Sabatu written there. That's why. Sabatu scores to make it 1-0, assisted by Brendan Aronson and Weston McKennie. Why are those two listed as assists? Wasn't it? Oh no, I guess that's right. I was thinking like Brooks passes it into the box and then it goes off of those two players to win 1-0. Not a particularly good game for the USA, I would say, and left a lot of people very pessimistic going into a final where they would have to face Mexico by all accounts, right? I mean, it turned out to be that way, but a lot of people were already thinking that we're going to have to face Mexico. Mexico and Costa Rica end up tying 0-0 and going to a penalty shootout. Sounds like Mexico didn't really look great in that game. So you're thinking these two teams are not going to look really great when they face each other. But boy, oh boy, did we get like the best USA-Mexico game in the history of USA versus Mexico. But first, before we get there, any thoughts on Honduras-USA? I know we were texting throughout it. Yeah, I probably came off more negative, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think the one thing with the U.S. men's national team is trying to find a lineup that works. And I think you see it more as time goes on, especially with the 3 matches that we got to see the U.S. team play. I think that you're starting to see a really good shot at what, at least a nice shot, like a screenshot of what a lineup should be, I think, too, because I think that it's, Jackson Ewell played in the, that center holding mid kind of thing, that role where he's not really an attacker. And we figured that out with the U.S. men's youth national team. When they were playing down in the Olympic qualifiers, we figured out that Jackson Ewell might not be the ideal option. And when you don't have Tyler Adams healthy or 100%, and then you find out Yunus Musa is also coming in and not in shape and fit completely as time's gone on, you figure that out. And Berhalter's been pretty open about just the lack of options that they really have in that spot. But again, like you said, Jordan, in this one, you really did come out of this one feeling like, and especially I know you did, that Mexico was just going to wipe the floor with us. But again, when Mexico didn't play as well either against Costa Rica, it was kind of like, okay, so neither team is coming in great form, but if you're going to take form, you're going to take Mexico over us just because the youth, we have a lot of youth and they've got a lot of experience. They've always held their own against us. And I think that playing over in Denver, that's close to a lot of states that have a lot of the Mexican fans. So it's, it's out west, so it's giving them even more support. So it was really kind of scary going into that game because I did think that a 1-0 win to Honduras, but I texted you guys, said anything could really happen, but I think I was leaning more towards you, like bad things could happen if we keep playing like this.
And I will say I was not wrong. I said if we play like this, we're going
It's true.
We didn't play like that. So we set up totally differently. Berhalter changed everything. You can complain about it or you can not, I guess. I don't know. Some people didn't like the way he set us up against Mexico. I wasn't a big fan of it, but we'll say it worked. He had to make some changes into it, but it did work. But just looking at the stats of the USA-Honduras game, USA had 65% possession. They had 10 shots to 7. Shots on goal were even at 4. That's pretty much it. Not too much else there. USA get the goal late. I thought we were going to penalties because remember the way that would have worked is 90 minutes straight to penalties for the semifinals. Not until the final do you go extra time. We got a full look at that. We got a full look at that in the next one. Let's talk about it. USA versus Mexico. I'm sure this is the one everybody wants us to talk about and the one that everybody should be talking about. We got 2 minutes into this game. It's in the second minute, so it's actually like a minute and a half into this game where Mexico scores. Jesus Corona scores to make it 1-0 very, very early on here. And it was literally right as I was pointing out to my wife that the person with the ball was a former Union player. And I could not even get that sentence out before it happened. I said, this is the way it went. I said, I was like, oh, you see him? He's a former Union player. He just gave the ball away. They scored.
That didn't work very well for you.
No, I was like, oh, my goodness. I will tell you, I don't think McKenzie had a great game at all. He had a few things like this, giving the ball away pretty bad. He also is the one that gets called for the penalty later on, which is kind of a debatable penalty. But still, just a very rough game for him. I do like the fact, as other people have pointed out, that Greg stuck with him. I think if you do take him out at like halftime, like people were calling for, it probably does wreck his confidence.
Yeah,
a bit. But it's a very bad giveaway. And look, this is his first experience in a real big game like this. That it's excusable. And guess what? This is what they're going to need for qualifying. I mean, the Nations League, while it is a trophy, it is very new. This is the first Nations League final. It doesn't have the sort of prestige as even the Gold Cup right now in the sense of like history-wise. I think people will look at the Nations League as a better competition because it looks like we're going to play first-teamers there more often than the Gold Cup. But like historically, it's the first one. So it's great that like this is a big moment for him and he's able to kind of rebound, go forward with doing this, because ultimately I know a lot of people have been asking for, we need trophies in these windows, but the main thing is not winning trophies as a national team, I don't think, unless if it's, I mean, the Euros is a big deal just because of the historical thing of that. Like the Gold Cup is not that big of a deal. But the goal is qualifying for the World Cup, right? Like we missed one. We've won the Gold Cup in 2017 and we still missed the World Cup. So like these trophies don't actually matter until you get to the World Cup. And you're probably not going to win the World Cup, but it's just, it's nice for these young guys to get a trophy like this and make a come from behind win and stuff. So I think that helps their mentality. But ultimately, fan base wise, it's just like everything should be targeted towards the qualifying, right? Like all of this stuff, this come from behind win and stuff, is going to help us in qualifying. You know, what are your thoughts on I just went way off script here because we only went about the 2-minute mark here of the game. But just like the lineup or anything that stood out to you in the giveaway and what it means for the Nations League Final as a whole.
Yeah, I think the giveaway, like you said, it's just youth. It's inexperience in those big games. It's somebody that, there's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of pressure, especially with this young generation, which is something I think that a lot of people don't understand, is that we have one of those young teams that people are just looking on to really just do something. And this is like, one of those generations that think that can be competitive to win a World Cup down the road. And I think that that's got a lot to do with the pressure that's mounting for, some of these younger players. I do think it will break some of them, and not break them to where they'll not be competitive in any other of their clubs. But I think it'll be enough to rattle them where, the performance that Tim Ream had, I think that was just, it was brutal to watch. And I think that when you have things like that, I'd tell you who's not going well right now is Serginho Dest. And he arguably was our best, if not the top talent, when we were playing those friendlies earlier on.
60 minutes in.
Yeah. And again, Berhalter tried. The one thing I will say, what I liked is that Berhalter, after the Honduras match, he went to a back three and was more of like Reggie Cannon, not Reggie Cannon. It was Dest and Yedlin. Yeah. So playing them more as like wing backs and kind of filling into those back spots, which is really nice. So, it's a change of scenery. It's a change of lineup. I actually like the Weston McKennie and Kellen Acosta in the middle. Kellen Acosta is like not the ideal. And obviously when Tyler Adams, if he is healthy, gets healthy and he stays healthy, he can play longer minutes. So he's kind of eating up those minutes at Acosta. Because I think it would actually work well if you had more of because I know Pep does this with Gundogan and he does it with De Bruyne, where they kind of just rotate in that double pivot to whoever they think might be. There might be times where the midfielder is better at, I need to get, forward more, or I need to defend more, depending on the situation. So I think that, Berhalter trying this kind of stuff really worked well. And then Berhalter played Pulisic, and I'm confused when managers play Pulisic because he doesn't get to play at Chelsea. But again, he's a captain, and I'm sure we'll talk about it because this game's got a lot to unpack. But overall, I think the defense is still really shaky. And I'm not sure it gets better in a year. I'm not sure there's somebody that's going to pop up out of nowhere and really take the helm. I really worry about Anthony Robinson. I worry about Tim Ream. I worry about guys like that, without an Aaron Long, who I thought was more stable, just because he's got more experience.
Well, one thing I want to say about Ream, I think he was there for the experience, I guess. But when that lineup came out, I was texting my dad, and I was like, I don't understand why it's just not Miazga then.
Yes.
Yep. If you want somebody playing like a center back of the three center backs in the back, Miazga could be good there. He also gets up for those Mexico games. I'm sure everybody's seen the memes of him with Lions, with him doing the height thing to him and getting into it the last time they played a big game. And that I think that could have been used because Ream, let's face it, he's 34 or so. He's on the downward trend, and he has also played 7 games for Fulham this season. That's it. So I can understand not playing Robinson there because Robinson's more of a left back.
He's a fullback, yeah.
Yeah, then playing him left center back is still not going to probably give them the results they need. But Miazga, who's an actual center back, I think Miazga might be right-footed, so that might have been a problem. But, yeah, I don't know.
But here's my question, okay? And this is where I still think the coaches are even – Walker Zimmerman is way better than Tim Ream. Way better. It's just, I know he was there for the friendly, but, he
got called in late, right? Because Miazga left for his wedding. Yeah, for his wedding, yeah.
But Walker's, and I'm actually glad Walker got a chance because I think the more he can get called on. But when I look at it, I'm like, here's a guy that what's different about him? He's mean. He's really mean. Walker Zimmerman is. And that's what the edge you have to play with. Sure, maybe he makes mistakes because he doesn't see that kind of speed in MLS or that. But again, they see.
Let's not forget we have McKenzie, who played at the Union last year. Barely has played really at Bruges. Left in January, right? And he's over there now. I'm not sure how often he plays.
He doesn't play often. Yeah.
But who was defender of the year last year in MLS?
McKenzie. Or Walker Zimmerman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So in a league where we sold McKenzie for tons of money, and now he's playing for the U.S. men's national team, the player that beat him to best player of the year for defender is not getting looked at as much.
That's true.
I understand he's older, but I think Zimmerman should be in the Gold Cup squad because we're going to be down on center backs anyway. But I'm hoping he's in that.
DK could play center back. He's big.
Let's fast forward a little bit. Mexico scored again, and at this point, I am like, this is over. And I tell my dad it's over. I'm like, this is crazy. Where it's about to be a blowout. But this is the first tournament with VAR in CONCACAF. They take a look at it. He's offside, barely. USA get a breather. Then USA go down and score. Giovanni Reyna off of a corner that just falls to him. Nobody's marking him. He's able to put it in. Wonderful. His parents are in the stands. Former U.S. women's national team player, former U.S. men's national team player. They're just loving life there as they watched him score against Mexico. And we go into the half 1-1. And right when you're thinking that was in the 27th minute, right when you're thinking it is 2-0 and the USA are in trouble, it's 1-1, it's halftime, and I was able to breathe. And I was able to feel a little more confident in the team. And I was like, you know what? We're putting up a fight now. It's time for us to, just 45 more minutes and we can go. And I thought for sure we were going to get through unscathed. There was a few times where Mexico threatened. 60 minutes in, we took off Dest and put in Timothy Weah, which I liked because it showed to me Greg is not just going to be like, well, he plays for Barcelona, so he's staying in. It is, you're not cutting it right now. You're out of there. We're putting in Weah because Weah can play wing, so that kind of fits into the wing back spot. He can do whatever, right? Because you have the three center backs in the back as well. We get to 69th minute. Zach Steffen has to leave. Injury. In comes Ethan Horvath. Plays for Club Bruges. He's a free agent now, so he can go wherever. And Steffen gets injured. He's off, and you're like, man, this is just crazy. What a crazy game. Mm-hmm. They bring in Lioness in the 78th minute. 79th minute, he scores. And at that point, I'm like, are you kidding me? We were 10 minutes away from extra time, and it's already over. I don't know how we're going to be able to score again. Before I can even really get that out of my mouth, 82nd minute, Weston McKennie scores off a corner, and I can't believe it. And it's 2-2. At that time, PFOC had come in for Sargent as well in the 68th minute. Then we get, right after the McKennie goal, assisted by Reyna. Reyna goes off. Leggett comes in. Adams comes in for Tim Ream, which was needed because now Tim Ream got burnt like crazy with Lioness. And now you have, who's actually probably going to be the real Captain America, Tyler Adams, coming in. He's probably going to be captain more than Pulisic will be. Pulisic, I don't like attacking players as captain anyway, in all honesty. Mm-hmm. But, so having Adams back there, he comes in for Ream, and things start going down. And at this point, Acosta starts playing better as well. Like, he really settled into the game, I thought, where he looked pretty good. We get all the way to 90-plus minutes, and we get like a fight breaking out. This game had everything. You had a fight breaking out with a tackle on Horvath. They start choking McKennie. The ref's right there, doesn't see it, I guess. That could have been a red card for Herrera. And then you have, Yedlin getting a yellow for arguing during all this as well. Then they take out Herrera in extra time right after he started another blow-up at some point. And we get to Reggie Cannon coming in for Yedlin. Then we get a penalty in the 114th minute. Some Mexican fans and some others have said that this is not a good penalty call. I liked it. At first, I was like, I don't know. That doesn't look like a penalty. The view where he sticks his foot out in front of Pulisic and trips him, that's a penalty to me. People can say, oh, he touched the ball, but it's not like they were both going for the ball. It's not like he had possession of the ball. He gets his foot in front of it barely and then trips Pulisic. That's like, it's a 50-50 ball, and you just trip the guy who's going for it. That's a penalty in my book. What do you think of the call?
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was. And like you said, the first time you see it, it doesn't look convincing, but then as they start to slow things down, you can clearly see that
you have to see it from behind the goal.
Yes. Yep.
If you're seeing it from the other angle, you're like, that's not a penalty.
It almost looked like a dive, to be honest. Like it looked like that's what happened. But then when you see it, you can tell that the foot gets him. And I thought it was a good penalty. And I love the emphatic pointing of the spot that the ref does, just like boom, like he knew.
I loved it. I turned to Joy. So this is like a late night game, right?
Yeah,
and
really
I'm
late.
laying there. Joy is laying like on my shoulder. The dogs are sleeping, and I'm just laying there, and I'm like, man, we just need to win this game. We get the penalty, and I'm like, that doesn't look like a penalty. Then they're looking at it, and I'm like, oh, I can see it being a penalty. And I told Joy, I was like, if he starts doing this, the box symbol, it means that he's overturning it. And he doesn't do that on this one because it's not overturning anything. It was already called as a penalty, right? Or was it not called as a penalty?
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as he starts doing the box, I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, here it comes. And he does this amazing. If you guys never saw this or if you didn't pay attention to it, you got to look this up. Because a lot of people said this is the ref showing everybody up. I don't believe that. I think that I love this. You know, when you watch like a baseball game and the ump does a huge strikeout call and you're like, yes. Or a huge out call, like when they're sliding in, they're like, oh.
Right.
That is what this was. It was penalty.
Yeah. It was the ref getting into it too. Like the ref was taking in the atmosphere. Like that place had to be up in an uproar. I mean, you had a lot of Mexican fans. You had USA fans. It's the first time that like we've all been able to pack stadiums. It's like the first big meaningful game back after COVID. This guy's just like feeling. You can just tell, and like, why not? Like you said, Jordan, I like the ones where the umpires like run kind of and just do the and they got you like in their face, and then you're like, oh my god.
Most lame ones are when like it's like. When it's not a close play, and I'm just like, like that's lame, right? But when it's like sliding in, and it's a close play, and the umpire takes a moment to look, right? He takes a moment to look, and then he'll be like a full-on punch down.
Yep.
You know, and you're like,
he's like pointing at the glove, like, yeah, you got it.
You got it. You're out of here. It's really nice, and that's what this guy had. He had this like just this beautiful arm movement. Now, what some people have pointed out, and they're right. He might pull this out too early. Right? Now, he's probably thinking this might be the only penalty call I'm going to make. But when he has to make the second penalty call for the handball, he can't top.
No.
He can't top what he already did. You know, so it's not as good. It also helped that call was for us, and I was like, yeah! You know, it got me really into it. And then the Mexican players are trying to mess up the penalty spot. You can see where they were kind of digging around there, but Pulisic doesn't care. He puts it top right corner. Beautifully placed penalty. I do want to say I got into it with this guy on Twitter. I didn't really get into it. I was just like, I replied once or twice, but he's a Chelsea fan, I guess, but like, the Chelsea fan accounts were sharing this penalty and they were loving it. And this guy was like, oh, I don't want him taking our penalties. And I was like, why? It was top right corner. Like nobody's getting to that. He said, yeah, nobody's going to get to it, but next time he's hitting the bar. And I'm like, or he could just hit
How
it in.
often has he seen Pulisic take a penalty with Jorginho?
Well, he doesn't do it for Chelsea, so I don't know how often he's done it.
Jorginho took like 150 in a row or something crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, like that, to me, I'd rather be top right corner than anywhere that the goalie is going to be able to get it. So
it was a beautiful penalty. And I think the goalie went with the ball. He just couldn't get it.
Yeah, he did. He just couldn't reach it.
Yeah, like, and Christian, that's who you want taking it. Like, he's okay, so this is kind of like, I guess
it's the Donovan effect. I mean, Donovan used to take those penalties and he'd put them away.
Yeah, it's like you want your big game player like Kevin. Like, KDB is not the goal scorer, but he's the guy who I would pick. Like, if it's not a striker, it's him, because it's like he's the guy. Like, he's the captain. He deserves it, and it's his call. And then if he wants somebody else to take it, then he can kind of give it up to somebody else. But no, I felt like this was like his moment. I mean, and I think Christian's always played with a chip on his shoulder, because I think people have just always told him how not good he is. So, like, you're not good enough for this. You're not good enough for that. And I think that this year with Chelsea, I think he's even got more of a chip, which is really helpful for us.
And it's nice, too, when he just says, like, in the postgame, like, I'm just going to put this top bins, like, and he did. Like, it was like nothing for him. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to do that. No problem.
What? He's our leader. And how old is he? 22,
I think.
22, is he?
Maybe just turned 23, but he's not.
22, yep. He turns 23 in September. That's wild.
Yeah.
Like, if you're talking about, like, wild experience, I mean, you're talking about guys like Mo Salah, like 27, 28, 29. You're talking about different guys like that, and our guy is 22.
Yeah, he was 18 when we did qualifying last time, and he's one of our most experienced players on the team right now.
He had a bedtime in the World Cup.
So, yeah, it's like Brooks and him are like the most senior players right now.
With McKennie behind him, and it's like McKennie's not old either. So
Pulisic buries it. He runs over, takes off his shirt. He's celebrating. The whole team celebrates. Great pictures of this published as well, but just a wonderful scene, except for the fact that then the Mexican fans are throwing everything. This happens all the time in these games, to be honest. I was not surprised by it.
I wouldn't either.
And one of them got Gio. And Gio was down for a bit. But it is what it is, I guess.
I mean, we had Berhalter taking out players on the sideline a couple times.
I saw some people getting really mad at that, and I
thought it was one of them wasn't his fault, really, because he tripped over the water. Like, he tripped over, and he's like trying to, like, but all
he's just trying to get the ball. He's just trying to get the ball to speed things up or whatever. But
maybe I've seen Pep and them kind of like squirrel it away, like, oh crap, I meant to. Nah, I'm sorry. I love that when managers pick it up and just kind of like they hold on to it too long.
Yeah.
No. I think that's what he was trying to do.
But I like seeing the fire from Berhalter. For everybody that acts like he doesn't care.
Yeah, whatever.
Then we get another penalty. Handball on McKenzie. This is something that, a lot of people are saying shouldn't have been called. The bad thing is when you have VAR, it's always going to get called because everything looks worse in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're thinking, well, he could just move his hand right there, but it's actually like a tenth of a second. But I also think that I understand, like my wife was even saying, like, well, what's he supposed to do? And I'm like, I understand people saying that, but also I know defenders are trained to put their hands behind their back.
Yep.
You can jump with your hands behind your back. Now, obviously, that's not natural. It's not what you immediately think to do. But when you're in the box, sometimes that's going to happen. And at first I thought they were looking at Brooks, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he took the ball in the ding-dong there. So I was like, that's not a handball. And then I was like, oh, no, we're looking at McKenzie. Like, oh, man, that is a handball.
Yeah.
I just knew they were going to call it. And I knew they were going to call it because I was like, it's CONCACAF. It's Mexico versus USA. They're down a goal. It's going to add some more drama. Of course they're going to give it. They give it. Horvath steps up, makes the save. If he didn't make the save, it probably would have had to have been retaken. Because I saw they were one of the other Mexican players was encroaching.
Yeah.
But that's not always called either. So you never know. But he saves it. it gets a little nervy where it's kind of coming back and in and back and in and out and back and in. And then finally Horvath is able to smuggle it and hold on to it. And it's not too much later that the final whistle blows and everybody's able to celebrate. And it was just great. We didn't even get a chance to talk about the guy jumping off the balcony, the streaker that runs on the field, the game being paused for the anti-discriminatory chant that Mexico always chants. Man, what else did we not talk? We talked a little bit about the melee on the field.
Yeah.
But it was just a crazy game. Had literally everything. Red card to Tata Martino during the penalty review for the Pulisic penalty. I was pissed off at that too, because I was like, there was another Mexican coach that was like talking to the ref as he's trying to get to the VAR booth. And I was like, just tell them to get away from you, dude, because like you have a job to do. And then he's visibly upset when Tata comes over and touches. And I know he's not like actually assaulting him or anything. He's just putting his arm around him. But that guy was like, I just told your other dude to back off. I'm getting you out of here.
And then Greg went over there.
Great picture of that with the ref having a red card and like Greg holding on to Tata. It was a really great picture of that too.
It was wild.
Man, just what a game all around. I'm glad I stayed up for it. Not that I wasn't going to. It's just
right. You were just going to turn it off right when extra time hit. Like, got to go to bed.
Gotta go to bed. Yeah. I had a tough time going to bed afterwards because I was just so hyped up from it. I was like, oh, that was a great game. And I saw somebody comment on Reddit saying, don't get too carried away with this win, like blah, blah, blah. And somebody responded back to them, and it was like the perfect response. It was like, if you can't get excited about that win, then sports are not for you. Yes, there's things we did wrong in that game.
Yep.
But we just beat Mexico in a meaningful game for the first time since 2013.
And had to come back and do it.
And had to come back from 1 minute down.
Yep. 1 minute down, they went behind. We caught
82nd minute, they went behind. Yeah.
So like, and that's what one thing that Doyle and them were talking about. I remember they all were saying it. They said, this is the win that when you're a younger group, these are the kind of wins that you want to see. This is the one that should excite you most because this one had adversity. It had Stefan going down with a pretty serious injury. You had Horvath come in and he hadn't looked great, but then he looked great. And you know, he looked really stable. The defensive kind of been kind of shaky, but they solidified that with Tyler Adams. Greg made choices and he changed the style of play so that changed. And like you said, it had everything. It had, you know, people jumping off balconies and it had Clint Dempsey. I mean, we haven't even talked about Clint.
With his camo suit.
His beautiful camo suit and his overall just swagger that he brings to the broadcast. I'm so glad that they've done that because everybody else around him, like Charlie Davies, and like they're all very like professional and they've all done it a while. And Clint's just learning, so he's always rough anyway. And I didn't know that, like you knew more about that he'd always been kind of not very friendly with media, just not very open at all. Kind of just ignored a lot of them. But they said that he just has this like swagger to him that it's funny. Like he's wearing the sunglasses and you can't see his face. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, they made him take it off at some point.
Yeah,
but then it became a thing that I think they're like, all right, now like the next time they're like, where's your glasses? And he put them on. I was like, yeah, now they know people loved it. They're gonna give it to him.
Oh, he turned into a trending topic on Twitter within like a minute of the game. So,
that was USA Mexico. They got to lift the trophy. I stayed up watching all the trophy presentation. It was great. Fantastic. And you know what? People complained it was the late Sunday night game, but to be honest, I thought it really set the mood for it. I liked sitting in the dark watching this game. It was great. People also have to understand that like some of these games are over in Denver.
Yeah.
And you're going to get more people out to a game in the evening usually, I think. But they also had to play two games. They played them at the same place, the third place, and then this game. Just good result. Then they played Costa Rica yesterday. Different lineup, but Brendan Aronson scores 8 minutes in. Daryl Dike scores his first international goal in the 42nd minute. Reggie Cannon in the 52nd, and Gio Reyna takes the penalty in the 77th minute. I do want to point out, because a lot of people were getting really hyped about that too, like, oh, we just beat a team 4-0 that drew against Mexico. This was also they made like 7 or 8 changes as well.
This
on
was
Costa Rica side. So
this was a depth thing.
Pretty much like a B team versus a B team in this regard. So still fun, still great, but like I saw some people being like, now we're the best team in CONCACAF. And it's like, you know what?
Easy.
We're going to have some difficulties with these teams still. Let's not forget all these games that we played were here at home.
Yeah.
There's going to be some difficulties on the road. So I don't want people to then, like, when we lose to Costa Rica 1-0 in Costa Rica, people be like ready to burn everything down. You know, like it's going to happen sometime.
It's CONCACAF.
It's CONCACAF, and we're going to be away from home. They have VAR now, so you know they're going to be looking for stuff to be giving. But yeah, so World Cup qualifiers are also going on for CONCACAF. You know, Canada is doing pretty well in those. They have some qualifiers against Haiti. Looks like 2 legs that they have to do against that coming up. But yeah, man, anything else you want to talk about with the USA?
We got to see a Daryl DK goal, and we got to see a Brendan Aronson goal. So you and I were both really happy because those are our guys. And I thought, I'm going to keep harping on Brendan Aronson every chance I get, just because, I mean, some of the stuff that nutmeg twice that he put in between people and defenders, Costa Rican defenders. You got to see him play a lot more than I did, but it's amazing how young he is and how confident he is. And then I saw an interesting thing. It was like, think about all these guys at Leipzig with Jesse Marsch. So yeah, it was like, just think about all the possibilities that are coming down the pipeline, like Caden Clark, and you know, you got Brendan Aronson, you got all those guys that are over there with them now, Tyler Adams. But did you see that Tyler Adams is rumored
linked to Arsenal?
Yeah, to Arsenal.
Yeah, stay away.
Yeah,
but apparently he's an Arsenal fan though. I saw like people showing tweets of him.
Where does he fit
Arsenal
in
stuff
with?
out.
Where does he fit in with Party? What are they going to do? Play a 2 defensive mid, bash him and smash him? Like, what?
I don't know how well Party did there though either. I mean, we barely heard about him this season when we're watching Premier League, so who knows? It
would be kind of cool to see him there, but I kind of want him to stay over and play with all those guys. So
same, yeah. Especially now that he's at Leipzig with Marsch. Yeah, I don't know why you would.
The U.S. and Europe. That's what that team's going to be called soon.
Yeah. Red Bull USA
Paxton's
in Germany.
Coming. Just wait.
Let's go ahead and talk some Revolution logo. I'm going to show. So if you haven't seen this, if you want to look up the visual version of this podcast on YouTube, or it's making the rounds on Twitter, so I'm sure you're seeing it. But this is a rumored New England Revolution rebrand. One thing that they did right is keep the name Revolution so far on this. Okay? So I'm just going to say that because I don't want people to freak out and be like, oh no, we're getting New England SC over here, right? So I'm going to show this. There we go. So it is a circle, which a lot of people are upset about. But I haven't really paid much attention to the circle part because the middle just has so much stuff going on. You got New England Revolution 1996, and it's got like this. How would you even describe this?
Almost like a rose petal. Like if you're looking over the top of it, like an aerial shot of a rose petal.
It also kind of reminds me of a red version of the thing on the back of Monica's door in Friends.
Yes.
Right? Yeah,
yep.
Like this.
Yep.
The way that it's kind of like curly like that. I don't know how else to describe that. With an R in the middle that looks very old school R. It looks really cool. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of it?
I really like it. I like the colors. And I, like you said, my first thought wasn't the circle. It was like right on that little, the badge, like the colorful part. Cause I think they did a nice job of making it all white and behind it. So everything goes right into the color. But I like it. I like you said, the first thing I looked for was the year, because I like when the teams have the years in them and their logos. And I like when it has their nickname. So the Revolution, which I really enjoyed. I don't know what it stands for because I didn't get that deep into Twitter, like trying to figure out what the red is. Like, I don't know. It's interesting. Somebody
I
said
don't
it
know.
looks like they're trying to cancel the revolution because it has the big red mark going through it. But I was like,
That's true.
I don't know. It's definitely funky. Like I don't like their logo now. I know some people like it. I don't really like it. I always thought it, and it's the hardest thing to frickin' put on a power ranking. So I'm all for this circular one. Kind of looks like Leicester's circular logo.
Yeah, I think there was a time where everybody wanted them to get rid of the Crayola flag, as we call it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it now. I used to want them to change it, but if they switch to this, I don't think this is. To be honest, I don't think this is better than what they have.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's worse than what they have. I think it's kind of like I'm okay with it if they have it or not.
Mm-hmm. Please post that. That's awesome.
Oh boy. Yeah, but that is that's my thought for it. I think it's not worse. It's not better. I think that I think you could get rid of the circle, to be honest, or make the circle more interesting than what's in the middle. Or I mean, like not more interesting, but like less plain, because it is just literally a blue thick circle with very basic font. But the middle part is really the part to latch onto.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if there's a way to like incorporate that middle part into it with still some of the logo and the name and the stuff like that. Like how to rework that. I like what you've done here.
Yeah, I'm gonna post this right now.
It's hilarious.
That's what it looks like, though. Doesn't
it does, big time. And that, like right when you said it, I was like, "Yep, I see it. I totally see it. It looks like it big time." So that's pretty funny.
But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. I think if like when you see the actual, so like the circle part is not part of the actual crest. I think a lot of the merchandise that has been popping up with this,
it's just the rose thing,
is just the red part with the R, and I think that is great. So if you get rid of the circle and you just had that, and then as the actual crest, without anything with like the name inside of it, I think that's fine.
Yeah. And then on like official merchandise, you could just put the name.
You could,
like,
yeah,
or like not the official, but like if it was like a team book or something like that, or like on TV, if you really wanted to put the name, you could if you wanted, because they like that's what they do. They file for all these patents. Like they could just make that one just like Crew did. I mean, Crew's using that one for their jersey, and then the other ones for
yeah. Anyway, let's talk the only game that's happening this weekend. We also got Euros starting tomorrow on Friday.
Yeah.
So the day you're listening to this, probably. But yeah, it's pretty good. We have at Children Mercies Park, we have Kansas City versus Austin.
This is such a random game.
It is.
Like why? Like I thought it was the home opener, and then I looked.
I thought so too, because I saw somebody counting down to it, and they were showing them putting the Q2 logo.
Maybe people think that it really is like that aren't Austin fans that are gonna be like they're gonna be really disappointed. But like, why is this game out here by itself? Like it's the only game for a week.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird.
The opening is the 19th.
Maybe it has something to do with because Austin's played so many away games that they had to kind of shift things, and maybe that's why they're stuck here. But that's
just weird because they've already played SKC very recently too, so it's just weird scheduling.
Very odd.
But it's our match of the week. This is the one that we're picking to say, hey, if you're going to watch any MLS game this weekend, it should be this one.
People that don't see the video are going to be so confused. like, wait, what other games? You just said it was the only one.
Are you agreeing that this is the game? This is the game to watch.
Looking through the list of games, I'm thinking that, I can't do it. I can't do it. Yes, Jordan, I've picked this game for the game of the week, and I think the national broadcast even picked this for the game of the week.
That's weird because I picked this game of the week.
Wow, we
you know
really
what's
need to
funny
go
though?
with
You said national broadcast picked it.
They're
but
not
They
national.
did not. They did not. They said, you know what? We're gonna show other games.
The dog show's on
during
today.
this. Yeah. They're probably showing Euros, honestly.
They
It's
are.
Saturday,
They
right?
definitely
But
are.
it's Saturday night. I mean, come on.
Right.
Or no, it's Saturday at 3:00. So yeah, there's definitely Euro games. So
Mhm.
ESPN was like, no, I'm not.
That's brutal.
Yeah, what game is it up against on the Euros? I gotta look this up now because I'm gonna have to see if I can juggle some of this stuff.
I know Saturday's great because it's got all sorts of games.
What game is Monday? Because I'm off work Monday. I could watch some. I'm gonna get my hair cut on Monday too. 3:00. It's against Belgium and Russia. It's a pretty good game, Belgium. But
Yeah.
Russia's not that great. So I
Tomorrow,
will say
Italy and Turkey, 3:00.
yeah. Yeah. And I'm working from home that day, so I can have it on.
There's your Monday games. You want them? It's Scotland and Czech Republic at 9, Poland and Slovakia at noon, and then Spain and Sweden at 3:00.
So I'm gonna try to
That'd
get
be a
my
good
hair
game.
cut maybe around 11 between the two games.
The Czech game and the Poland game.
Yeah.
The Sweden and Spain game, that should be decent.
What day is that? Oh
That's
yeah,
Monday. That's at 3.
3:00. Yeah, and then I gotta drop my dogs off at my parents, and then we're gonna go to bed early and leave for Florida. So
Come on down.
yeah, should be good. But yeah, I think that about wraps up everything. You want to do? I don't know. Do you think SKC gets the win here again against Austin?
Yeah, I think so. Home, 100% capacity, Children's Mercy Park. Austin really hasn't been good lately. Really struggling to score. SKC probably becoming the best team in the West right now just because I think Seattle's kind of taking a little step back. So SKC is kind of rising in those power rankings where I think if they win this game, and how it shakes up the next week, following that, I think you're going to start to see SKC really start to turn on the energy here and really kind of pull away from the rest of the teams in the West, maybe, except maybe Seattle. But again, yeah, I think that this is a nightmare kind of game for Austin right now. Excited about their home opener next week. Has to play this game. It's kind of like a trap.
Now I know why they're really pumping up Saturday at Q2 Stadium. It's because they're doing a special season ticket event to pick up special gift commemorating their inaugural season. So that's why they keep saying stuff about 6/12. I was thinking, oh, maybe that's the day it starts. I thought it was the 19th, but then I was right. It is the 19th. So just some confusing stuff there.
The stadium's going to be open a week, and you can get your seats starting.
I guess maybe that'd be cool if they let them in and watched it there. I think they might be able to do that.
That would have been cool.
Play it there on the screen or something.
Yeah, I know they've been doing a lot of those parks. Like I know Aaronon's been showing like on Austin. We Are Austin TV. They've been showing them at like big bar outdoor areas, and Austin fans are nuts. I'm excited for the 19th. I think that's going to be a great fan base.
Yeah, one last thing. Jason Davis of SiriusXM FC, he does the U.S. soccer show there, United States of Soccer. He says that from the source responsible for the Revs rebrand, says that they think there is another MLS team that's also eyeing a rebrand. Who would you think? Rapids, RSL, Quakes?
I could see RSL. That makes
Yeah.
sense. RSL makes total sense if they're going for that how they were kind of going through that imaging thing with everything.
Let's see who hasn't refreshed it in a while. Like DC refreshed theirs recently to have the eagle coming out of the crest.
Sporting to Philly.
Atlanta's is still so new. Union tweaked their colors a bit.
Orlando's is great, so I don't.
Orlando should be fine. I think NYCFC is fine enough. If I was thinking of it, it'd probably be somebody in the West.
I would say RSL.
I could see the Rapids or RSL.
RSL big time.
I don't know if RSL would do it yet. They haven't been sold. So I think we could rule them out.
That's true. I didn't think
because who would be in charge of that? I think we can rule them out.
So maybe Quakes.
Quakes just did theirs however long ago. Like that's not like it's still kind of new, but I guess not super new. I wouldn't mind a Rapids rebrand. I think their crest is okay. It's just I hope whatever it is, they stick with their name and just kind of refresh the badge. But
I was gonna say Portland's relatively new, so I don't imagine them.
yeah, they updated theirs recently to remove the letters in. They had Portland Timbers written in their crest.
Oh,
Originally.
you know
They
who
removed
probably is
that.
changing it? Inter Miami. They have
No
to.
way.
They're gonna have like
No way.
5 stars, and it's gonna be the DP. It symbolizes like 5.
Yeah, I don't know who else it would be.
I liked our RSL thing, but then I was like, well, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know,
the
because I think
Fire.
whoever would want to be in charge of that would want to.
Well, that'll be 3 because the Fire are doing theirs next year.
Yeah, but that one's already known, so I'm assuming it's one that's not known. And Houston just did theirs. And if I'm looking at brands that are not super strong, it's Rapids. Quakes could probably get a rebrand with just get rid of the ball in the logo and change that up a bit. LAFC still very new. Maybe the Whitecaps could change there, so I like it. I think they might look at it and say, well, it's just 3 triangles or whatever. Like, why don't we make it a circle or an oval, right?
I wonder how long has FC Dallas has been like that.
I don't know. They were originally the Burn, so I don't know when they switched to FC Dallas. Let me see if I can locate that. They were the Burn for a while.
I could totally see you being right about the Rapids one, though. It just hasn't. It doesn't have like the wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Them in San Jose, they don't have like the wow. It's just soccer ball stuck in the middle of a crest. Both of them.
Yeah, the old Quakes logo I actually really liked better, I think. That's when they were the actual earthquakes, not just the quakes.
Out of all those logos, which one's your favorite?
Out of all what? All the crests that we have in MLS? Or out of the ones we're speculating?
No, out of the ones that we have right now.
So if I'm giving the best crest in MLS,
ooh, best of the crest. One. I got mine.
That's a tough one. I do like the Unions since they rebranded it to be lighter. It used to be darker colors, so it looked a little bit more drab. I think that's the issue Colorado has a bit right now. I think their colors, I don't know, when you shrink down the Rapids logo, it's not very identifiable. I think that's probably their problem. When I look at, if I'm not going to say my favorite team and looking at crest that is not the Union, oh man, I would probably say it's got to be like Seattle or Galaxy, to be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe Minnesota with the loon.
I was going to say that's mine.
Minnesota?
I like theirs. I really like Austin's too. It's funky. It's like their tree. I like theirs.
Yeah, I think I read, though, that doesn't really have any significance there.
Yeah. There's trees in Austin.
Weird.
Duh.
Oh, yeah. There are. Dang. I just totally spaced on that.
It, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like how the Union have a snake. There's snakes in Philadelphia. Oh, I got it.
And the Rocky Mountains are in Colorado. That's great. Yep.
Oh, you're just mind-blowing me
know.
right now. I don't even understand what's going on.
Wait till I try to explain the FC Cincinnati one, because I can't. Don't know what it means.
I can.
Can you?
Yeah, it's based off the Queen City, right? And the Queen, and something with the Griffin. I don't know. I feel like that's something that links with it. With a church? I think it has something to do with a church. Logo meaning. Oh, yeah. Let's look that up. Their old logo is a lot better, though. But...
yeah, I've seen it. It's cool.
Okay, so the winged lion of St. Mark the Evangelist. Why was I having such a tough time with that? He is part of the Church of Alexandria, Christianity has something to do with Cincinnati. But I don't know. We should get the guys on to ask about that.
Let's have everybody on that we've had on to ask about everyone's crest.
Yeah.
What's it mean?
Which one's your favorite? Yeah, I think we can wrap it up. We're kind of mindlessly wandering right now.
That's fine.
If you can follow us on Twitter at Stateside Show, Facebook.com/Stateside Show, Instagram at Stateside Show, TikTok, Stateside Soccer Show. If you want to hear me talk about some USL, some NISA, some NPSL, all that good stuff is over on our YouTube called The Closed Pyramid. We also do our power ranking show there. I forgot to upload that one. I just put it up recently. But guess what? There's no game, so I didn't have to worry about it. So that was good. But yeah, go ahead and check those out. Those are exclusive to YouTube. If you want to hear them on podcast, just let us know. Maybe we put them on there. I don't know. But we will catch y'all next time.